In light of the actions of Ezra Miller, some have called for a boycott of The Flash. I recognize the hurt they've caused to others and encourage viewers to make their own decision regarding seeing the film. This review reflects my impressions of The Flash on its own merits as a narrative work. I do not condone what the actor has done. Holy crap, guys, just getting out of seeing The Flash, and I loved it. I loved it. Listen, I know there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this movie, especially the main actor, and I'm not excusing what they've done. However, this movie is injected with so much heart, so much action. The visuals need a little work, but I will say there is a lot to love about this movie. It feels like a DC superfan's wet dream, honestly. This is the best DC I've seen in a while. I mean, I saw some tweets that said this is the best since The Dark Knight, and where it stands right now, I'm thinking at the top of my head, I'm like, okay, the Suicide Squad was really good. There have been some really great ones to come out, but this one I think might be, honestly, up at that level, to be honest with you. There's great story, a lot of heart, a lot of emotional connection. Of course, the chemistry between the characters. You get some great dynamics between Flash, between Michael Keaton's Batman, which, by the way, holy smokes, can we just talk about that real quick? Michael Keaton's Batman returned to full form like he never left. He was great, loved the use of gadgets. They even got the Batman fighting style that he uses really well injected into the movie. I thought that using gadgets and grappling hooks and things like that, that's how his Batman had combat, and it really, really worked. Honestly, I really like this, and I have to just say this. I will say, barring their controversy, I don't give any excuses to that. Ezra did do a great job acting. They basically played two different roles, and it really worked. The dynamic between the young Flash and the older Flash was actually very good, better than I had expected. There's some great comedy in there. They play off and riff off of one another very well. It almost looks like you're looking at two completely different characters, so very well written there. The direction is solid. There are some really good shots. There's a great money shot with the two Flashes that you'll love later on in the movie. I know some of y'all probably seen it in the trailer, but later on in the movie, you will absolutely love that shot big and on a huge screen. You're gonna want to see this on IMAX. The lighting's great, the colors are great, they're not muted. We're not in the old DCEU anymore, and definitely stay till the end. You gotta see what happens, because there's some cool things that go on. But guys, this is my initial reaction. Let's head back to the studio and we'll talk a little bit more. All right, guys, so let's talk about The Flash. And I have this disclaimer at the beginning of the video because I completely understand if you don't want to check out this movie, if you don't want to cover this movie, I completely get it. Again, I do not condone any of what the actor has done in the past, but let's talk about The Flash on a fictional merit standpoint. I'm gonna just come right out the gate and give the praise and the flowers to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Michael Keaton. Seriously, seeing him as Batman again was a great blast from the past, and it felt like he hadn't really stepped out of the cape once he got back in, guys. This was very comfortable for Michael Keaton, and I love seeing him back in that bat suit. What was so well done here, and like I said in my initial reaction, they really use his version of Batman here to a T. There's gadgets, there's all kinds of smart combat moves. Like, his Batman, while not necessarily as like brutal as Ben's, seriously has this cool edgy style and a lot of gadget use that really is well known for the Batman in that era, and the 90s Batman the animated series. Lots of use of the grappling hook, and it just is so great to be back with Batman. The Flash was a lot of fun though. The story was very tight, very emotional as well. And there's a big message here when it comes to changing your past. You know, if you've read the comic Flashpoint, you already know what's going on here. But Barry Allen, of course, runs back in the past to save his mother from the tragic ending that she had. So, of course, that changes everything, and everything ends up different than how it was before. And man, I mean, this just really nails that storyline very well. There's a lot of emotional connection between Barry and his mother in the film that just echoes through so well. I mean, we all love our moms, right? I know I love my mom. So I just loved that connection in the movie. But the trio of The Flash, Supergirl, and Batman was awesome. Sasha Calle, really liked her as Supergirl. I thought she looked great in the suit. I thought she was stoic. She had so much presence without even having to say much on screen. I really liked her Supergirl, and I wanted so much more. Like, I want more of her Supergirl. She just embodied that role, guys. I thought that she inspired hope. She was brave. I just really liked that character a lot. She had the look. She was magnificent, guys. I thought that she was wonderful in the Supergirl role. I would have loved more. I think that was probably the biggest misstep with that character, is not giving us a little bit more. But the teamwork aspect that we do get is really good. Now, Ezra's in this twice. Not only as Barry 1, but there's another Barry involved in this as well, because remember, Barry travels back to the past, and there's another Barry. And I will say, the dynamic of the two Barrys playing off of each other, well done. It is well done. I think it fits into the story, and I think, well, some scenes it looks a little odd, like you're like, okay, is that really Ezra? Like, it does look a little off-putting. For the most part, I feel like I'm looking at a conversation between two different characters, if I'm being honest with you. I felt like the energy levels between the two Ezra were so different. I feel the personalities were different, and that just goes to show how one small change can affect the entire universe, and it affected that character. So I liked seeing the dynamic of the Barry with mom and Barry without mom. I thought that was a cool dynamic to play between the two of them. I thought the running looked really cool and odd in some parts as well, but what's so funny is there's a couple of like meta jokes of like how odd the running looks. So I think they know that it looks pretty weird, but I do think that especially in several different visual effects shots, it looks really cool. Let's talk about those visual effects though. The visual effects are just not good. I will say most of it is good. There are just like some sequences that are, in my opinion, glaringly bad. There are a few sequences where I'm just like, okay, like there's some Speed Force stuff that just doesn't look great. I don't know, from what I saw, it looked real rough. I'm gonna just be honest with you. But honestly, visually, not the best, but there are some great visuals too. Like there's a visual in the trailer of the two Barrys colliding their heels and running off of each other. That was great in the film. I think that there are some really good pieces to this film, but also some not so good ones. And I think the villain, the like overarching villain being Zod, was a little underwhelming. I do like Michael Shannon, don't get me wrong, he was great in the role. I just think that unfortunately we've already had Zod, so it kind of felt like rinse and repeat a little. I did like getting him back, but then there's also, without spoiling, there is another villain kind of butting up in this, and I think that was maybe not executed the best it could have been. So the visuals, the last minute hodgepodge villain that was thrown together, not that great. But holy crap, guys, we got to talk real quick about the amount of cameos in this movie. There are so many damn cameos, guys. There's tons of cameos in this. And I will say, if you are a DC fan, you will feast, because there's going to be a specific cameo that if you've been tracking DC movies for a long time, you'll know about, and you'll feel a certain way. You'll feel a certain way seeing this cameo. That's all I'm gonna say. I thought it was awesome that they brought that to life. That's all I'm gonna say though. There are cameos from a lot of characters around the DC universe, so just be on the lookout for that. Great cameos. I thought it was very well placed in the film as well. It wasn't like they popped up and, oh, wait for applause. Like, I love No Way Home, but let's be real. There was some wait for applause moments. But I do like the cameos in this movie. I do like the running, even though sometimes it looks a little cheesy. I like that they play on that. I like the Barrys together. I like Sasha Calle. I like Batman a lot. Michael Keaton's Batman was awesome. He has some of these action sequences that are just so visceral, and the audience was really cheering here. The lighting, the camera work looks really good here as well. It doesn't look as muted as a Zack Snyder one. No offense. It's not that I don't like the Justice League that he did. I actually really like it. I just think that the colors can be a little muted, and here it was colorful. It was flashy, if you will. There was some flash and some color and some spunk in this, and the movie just had a lot of spunk and heart and personality, and it just had a lot. So Honestly, listen, James Gunn is starting his new DC universe, so to me, maybe it seems like we're gonna be done with this Flash. I would like a recasting, but we'll have to wait and see what they have in store for DC. I want to know what the future is going to hold for this, especially after we already know that a second script for Flash 2 has already been like done. Oddly enough, I thought that was jumping the gun a little bit, but the Flash 2 is apparently, that script has already been developed. I don't know. I think we're jumping the gun a little here. I definitely want James Gunn, to just hit a hard reset on this. Hit a hard reset. Let's just start everything over. Let's start fresh, because this felt good. And if the next movies can be of this quality, then we're looking at a DC universe that could easily rival the MCU. This was really, really good. The music was great. Like I said, the two Barrys, Batman, Sasha Calle, the trio of them together, that energy. Even Barry and Iris was really good. So lots of good relationships. I just need them to really go ahead and hit that reset button. And let's start fresh, y'all. Let's start fresh. But y'all, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you anticipating The Flash? Have you seen it? And if you have, please let me know your thoughts. I thought it was really, really solid, guys. I thought even, I'm gonna say this, maybe even contender for best in the DCEU. I really like the Suicide Squad, but I think about The Flash and I'm like, listen, it could be a contender to be the top spot. Guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.